Good morning, it's Yvonne here from the Aussie Goddess to do you what's cracking. It's Monday the 14th of October. Thank you so much for subscribing to my channel. I want to say a big thank you to all the people who've so far sent their stories in. I will start, once my fair's finished and things quiet down, I'm going to start working on my first newsletter. To all the people who've sent me your stories, I will send you a form as soon as I get around to developing something to just say that you give me permission to print your story. I just want to catch up with you on some dates. So this Sunday coming, we do have our Facebook Live. I'll do some card pulls for people. If you're interested in that, please go over to the Facebook page of the Aussie Goddess and like my page. I can't remember if I wrote 9 a.m. or 10 a.m. down Australian time, but it doesn't matter really what time I do it. It doesn't seem to coincide with everybody in the world, so we'll see how we go there. Then on the 27th of October, I'm at Merriweather in Newcastle. The 2nd of November, I'm at Goulburn, New South Wales. 9th of November, I'm at Bathurst for a psychic night, and then my next appearance for readings will be the 23rd of November. I'm back at Orange. So if you want to book in for any of those dates, let me please know, and I'll put you either to the organiser or book you myself. Stories, yeah, that's it. Okay, I'm using the Witch's Tarot here. And we have the High Priestess coming out. Very nice for a Monday morning. So for some of you here, this is about your intuition. It's also about secrets. It's things not being spoken at this time. This is people sort of sitting with something and not expressing it. But it's also about your intuition. So for some of you here, it could be that you are working very well on yourself here to try and develop that part of you here, that solar plexus, where you feel your feelings. That's where your intuition sits. It's also the Seven of Pentacles coming out here. So the Seven of Pentacles, this looks really interesting, doesn't it? Some of you have planted some seeds here, some ideas about how you want to move forward. And you're very patiently waiting, just sitting, tuning into yourself, spending time on yourself. You know in your gut what's going on here, and you're waiting. That's what that is. Silently waiting for something to happen. Waiting, waiting, waiting. Sticky cards. All right, behind that I have the Four of Swords, which of course is another form of waiting, but this is a different sort of waiting. This is meditation and healing and just letting time pass, like actually allowing yourself to heal. And behind that we do have the Page of Pentacles. So some of you here are quietly trying to decide how to move forward on a situation. This could be a situation with another person. I look at the size of her pentacle. It could be about making an offer to someone. It could have been that you've made an offer to someone else and now you're quietly waiting for them to give you an answer or return to you. The other thing it can mean too, because the Page of Pentacles often talks about study, making decisions about how you want to move forward. For some of you that here, this is about trying to decide how to move forward in work or in your study, trying to understand which direction you want to go in, maybe doing a bit of meditation to try and get a feel with that intuition of yours, what the direction is that you want to go in. And it can be in terms of your work or a work situation as well as a home situation, but it's like you're quietly planning maybe some sort of approach or attack. Well, let's see how we go with the reading. Now, first off, you've got the World coming out. You could be planning a holiday around the world. How nice is that? You could be planning how to travel to see somebody, but more likely you're about to close out a cycle because what you have been working on here is finished. Sometimes this can be a time when you're going from single to being in a couple. It can be a time where you are changing how you see things or how you want to move forward, but there's some sort of cycle closing out here. Okay, some of you could be dealing with a fire sign, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. The fire sign is a person who, the King of Wands is a person who's very much in charge. He looks very smug in this picture. He's very much in charge of his own life. Like He could be self-employed, he could be a manager or a leader, but he's very, very passionate about what he does. Now, because he's so passionate and so driven, you could find him very attractive. So it could be someone you're dealing with here. Now, if this is a work situation, it could be somebody at work who's feeling quite smug about what they're doing here. All right, and there's the Seven of Wands coming out here. So there's a feeling of being defensive, feeling of having to stand your ground, fighting for something here. And then look at this. You're about to walk down a different pathway. Okay, that's got something to do with you closing out a cycle. Two of Wands talks about two different ways to go. Your intuition's on point here, because you're trying to work out which direction to take, and you're being led here by the universe. So let's get some more information. Six of Pentacles coming in. So something you've either invested in that you're waiting for a return, or something you want to invest in that will give you an equal give and take. Could be somebody from your past here, but this can also relate to things to do with your childhood. And with the World here, sometimes that's about closing out some of your past, letting go of things, not clinging on, being able to release. Yeah, there's a sadness here with this Five of Cups. So with the Five of Cups, there's some looking back at the past here. Some sort of looking back at the past. Something you should have invested in and maybe you didn't invest in. Maybe you let something go here. Maybe a fire sign. But there is something here you now need to close out, because you're going to go round again. You've decided to restart something, rethink something, open yourself back up to something. You're repeating. So you've had this cycling here with this world, but it's like you're going back to try again because something didn't work out the first time around with a Leo, Sag or Aries. There is a feeling here that you need to find balance though before you can move forward, especially with the Six of Pentacles here, because there's like this feeling here that you haven't quite got to this end of a cycle here. Something needs to be closed out. And you're busily working on something here. Eight of Pentacles followed by the Four of Wands. So we're talking about stability and balance. There's either a relationship or a situation where you left it behind in the past because it was unbalanced, or you were not getting back what you were putting into something. So it's like you've been investing in something and it's not been returning to you. The thing is, ultimately, that sounds like a pretty sort of basic story, but there's a lot more to this around your personal growth. This is about you understanding something in the deepest core of you here. You're looking at it from a very shallow perspective. So you're looking at it as being one thing where the universe is trying to take you through this lesson because you keep missing this lesson. You're not listening to the lesson, you're listening to the situation, and that is not helping you. So they keep taking you back through it in hope that you will understand that this is something about the lesson, not in the situation. Something that was planted seeds for long ago, something perhaps you've meditated on, some sort of offer here that was made the first time around, but perhaps you weren't ready or you weren't understanding the lesson in it for you. There's some sort of lesson here about releasing the past. You're still hanging on to things and taking them into every situation with you without really understanding that you're doing this. You're very stuck in a particular way of doing things, and you're defending your way of doing things, but you're not understanding the universe keeps taking you through this situation in hope that you understand it's not about the situation, but you keep facing the situation rather than taking the lessons away. This has something to do with the way you think about things. There's sort of like a feeling here of approaching things in a way where you are going in unbalanced and not really understanding to do things differently. They just reminding me of that saying where you keep doing the same thing over and over again. expecting a different result. And of course, the same thing keeps happening. And there's this feeling of like being really regretful and remorseful because you're feeling like you're investing all your time and energy and it's not rewarding you here the way you need to. What I want to say to you is whatever this situation is for you here, you are about to get it. The ball is about to drop here. Because you can't keep going around in circles on this. It could be to do with relationships. It could be to do with your work life or some sort of situation you find yourself in over and over again. But with the intuition card here, I'm feeling like you're about to get it. You're about to realize what you're doing here. And it's doing the same thing over and over again without getting a different result. It's got something to do with the way either that you adapted to things in your childhood, and something to do with you sort of keep sticking to the same idea. You're not letting that idea go and trying things from a different perspective here. So you keep going in with the same ideas, and it's got something to do with the way you've done things in the past. So it may be that you've had, trying to look for a job, for example, but you're always going about it the same way and the job never eventuates. And you keep doing it again and again and again, thinking you're failing at it and trying again. But actually what you're doing is you keep doing the same things. And it's sort of like here, the universe is asking you to use your intuition, get out of your box, find your own balance, find your own understanding here, and try to have a very different approach to how to move forward. Now, if this is a relationship, or maybe not one relationship you're cycling, but the idea of cycling through relationships, perhaps it's time now to stop trying to do that. Take time out and try to understand why you keep attracting the same person or the same situation, or whatever it is for you here, because there's a stability you're bringing here and a cycle you're closing out. So to me, with this work card here, it says to me you're finally getting what you're doing. And I don't want to say wrong because it's not wrong, it's a lesson, but what you're not doing correctly. So for some of you, it might be for a relationship. For example, you may find that you want something long term and you keep getting people who don't want something long term. So what is it then you're doing that you can bring in that long-term relationship? And maybe it means stepping out of the dating scene for a while, reviewing your techniques, reviewing how you approach things, because this is about you don't keep going by the rules that you set for yourself in childhood. They no longer work for you here. So you have to rethink, how do I move forward here? Use the skills I have, but use my intuition this time. Don't go on what I've learned. Don't try to put the things in practice that I've done before. If you're doing the same thing over and over and over and not getting a different result, then go back to where you're doing it and have a look at how you're doing it, because perhaps it's you doing it in a way that's not bringing you the results you desire. Okay, so the card we have out here that just jumped out at me is Come to the Edge. And that is the card of 36. So if you're a number person, that's number 9. Come to the edge. The essential meaning here is courage, taking a leap of faith, overcoming fear and accepting risk. So maybe this is about you trying to do things without actually taking risks. Maybe you are always trying to do this within the rules that you learned as a child. Like you can't, express yourself to someone, or you can't be honest with someone, you can't hurt someone's feelings, or maybe you're doing some of those things you need to review. So the Oracle's message here is facing the unknown is the only choice you really have right now if you want to progress. It's okay to be afraid. Now is the time to take a risk that is not calculated, to feel the exhilaration as you ready yourself for a leap of faith. Spirit is present. Let go of fear. You're called to express your true self. Listen to your heart and soul, not your head. Come to the edge and discover that you can fly. You must step into the unfamiliar so you may find your miracles. Interesting. Now, just going to read the relationship one here, because I feel like for many of you, this is a variety of situations. But basically, it's telling you here that if you keep being safe with something you do over and over, you're never going to get a different result. Take a risk, do it differently, approach it in a very different way, use your intuition, try to see the situation differently. Don't do it by stock standard. If you've always done it that way, stop, think, do it differently. Don't be scared. Take a risk. The relationship message here says it's scary to be truly intimate with someone, to allow him or her to see all of you, especially the parts that you've kept hidden and protected. Now is the time to take that risk and let yourself be seen, truly seen. It's important that you speak up, voice what you need, state what you are, say what you hope for. This is not the time to play it safe, but to take a leap of faith. You will be glad you did. If you're seeking a relationship, the same applies. Take one step forward towards the gods and they will deliver what you truly desire. So this whole reading is about you understanding that by doing the same thing each time, you're just going to cycle back around. The universe is just going to give you the same lesson again. You need to do it differently this time. Take the risk. What is the worst that can happen? Have a wonderful day.